making headlines. The president states that the Development Bank of the Maldives would be an important hub for investors in Maldives. The president announces plans to develop the first of its kind smart classes at Majidia School. And the education minister announces that the 100th anniversary of Majidia School will be celebrated on a national scale.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Al-Sattar. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Moise states the Development Bank of Maldives, DBM, would be an important hub for investors in Maldives. He made the statement during his meeting with the two members to be appointed to the board of directors of DBM as its chairman and chief operating officer, CEO.
Prior to his meeting with the two individuals, President Moise, in a special message shared on social media, stated that this is an important and historic step towards boosting the economy of Maldives. He assured that the bank would be established very soon and that investments on major projects will follow it. He went on to note that the Development Bank of Maldives would become an investment hub for investors in the tourism industry, resort construction, renewable energy, real estate and housing. The president reiterated the establishment of a development bank is one of the most important parts of the government's manifesto to expand and diversify the Maldivian economy. DBM was established in May 2024 with the aim to enhance the attractiveness of foreign currency deposits within the domestic banking system. The bank's mission is to invest in sustainable economic and social development, raise funds for infrastructure projects aligned with government policies, and address challenges in financing public sector investment program PSIP projects through syndication finance. President Dr. Mohamed Moise has assured that the bank's operations would be managed effectively to achieve these objectives. He has also emphasized that DBM board would consist of top regional experts, including international financial specialists, ensuring that the bank is guided by individuals with extensive global experience. The government disclosed the identification of two candidates for the CEO through a foreign recruitment agency earlier this month. Additionally, two experienced professionals from major international banks were also appointed to the board of MDB earlier this month, following three more appointments in the last week. The application for the bank's operating license has been submitted to the Maldives Monetary Authority, MMA, and efforts are underway to secure suitable building for the bank's operations.
The chairperson Aruni Gunitelaki and CEO Noel Gregor Patterson-Jones of the Development Bank of Maldives Limited, DBM, holds a fruitful discussion with President Dr. Mohamed Moise about ways to improve and diversify the Maldivian economy. The discussions were held during the chairperson and CEO's courtesy call on the president.
During the meeting that took place at the President's office, President Dr. Moise, the chairperson and CEO of DBM, held discussions on ways to improve and diversify the Maldivian economy, drawing on the chairperson and CEO's extensive knowledge and experience in the field. Chairperson Aruni is a financial services expert with over 25 years of experience in global financial markets, specializing in business origination, governance, credit assessment, and risk management in emerging markets. Her background includes transformational roles in corporate banking, credit risk management, and internal audit across international and Sri Lankan banks. She holds a Master of Laws, LLM, from Harvard University. CEO Noel Gregor Patterson-Jones has been a key figure in green investments, leading the establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund in Saudi Arabia as Chief Investment Officer. He also chairs the Electric Vehicle Africa Fund and manages clean energy projects in Southeast Asia, demonstrating his expertise in green finance and infrastructure development. He holds a MPhil Management Studies from Oxford University, UK. The Development Bank of the Maldives Limited was established on May 16, 2024, in alignment with the President's pledge. It aims to enhance the attractiveness of foreign currency deposits within the domestic banking system. The bank's mission is to invest in sustainable economic and social development, raise funds for infrastructure projects aligned with government policies, and address challenges in financing public sector investment program (PSIP) projects through syndication finance.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz announces plans to develop the first of its kind smart classes at Majidia School.
Speaking at the ceremony held to inaugurate the Satavi Bina monument, marking the countdown for the 100th anniversary of Majidia School, President Dr. Muiz reflected on his own educational experiences in the school. The President emphasized the significant role that Majidia School has played in the nation's educational sector, noting that many distinguished individuals received their education in that school. Underscoring the significance of the educational journey, he stressed that the primary objective of education is to prepare individuals to contribute to the nation, enhance their personal lives, and serve their communities. He added that the purpose of studying and educating is to contemplate how to prepare to serve their nation. Acknowledging the need for renovations at Majidia School, President Dr. Muiz announced that some of the classrooms in the 40 classroom extension building, which will be developed for Majidia School next year on the land previously occupied by Dharmavanta School, will be developed as smart classes. The President also revealed plans to transform Darul Uloom, the cherished old school hall of Majidia School, into a national education museum. He noted that this museum would serve as a medium to pass down the rich history of the nation's educational journey to future generations. Furthermore, President Dr. Muiz also encouraged all individuals to prioritize national service and assist those in need, asserting that such actions are vital for advancing the educational sector. The President urged everyone to strive towards their goals by courageously overcoming challenges, noting that diligent efforts yield positive results. He advised individuals to fulfill their responsibilities to the best of their abilities. After the ceremony, President Dr. Muiz viewed a photo gallery at Darul Uloom, the school hall. Majidia School is the oldest educational institution in the country.
Minister of Education Ismail Shafiu announces that the 100th anniversary of Majidia School, which marks a significant milestone in the history of education in the Maldives, will be celebrated on a national scale. Speaking at the inauguration of the Satavi Bina monument at Majidia School, Minister Shafiu emphasized that the school represents the beginning of formal education in the Maldives. He called for the anniversary to be celebrated by all schools, students and teachers across the nation, recognizing Majidia as the first school in the country to introduce an international curriculum. He highlighted that the Maldives now has a regional perspective, with students achieving high academic rankings. Meanwhile, Principal Aishat Muhammad Saleh noted that Majidia School, which began with just 69 students, has grown to become one of the largest schools in the country. She praised the ongoing efforts of the teachers, staff and students and said that extensive plans are in place for the 100th anniversary. She also said that it includes the formation of a special committee composed of senior students. As the oldest educational institution in the Maldives, Majidia School's alumni played a key role in the construction of the Satavi Bina monument. The monument stands as a testament to the school's enduring impact on education in the country. Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed states the Bank of Maldives BML issued US dollars transaction limits contrary to directives of President Dr. Mohammad Muiz.
The initial measures introduced by BML included suspending foreign transaction allowances for both existing and new debit cards, as well as new credit cards linked to MVR accounts. Additionally, the monthly foreign transaction limit for existing standard and golden credit cards was reduced to $100. These changes sparked widespread criticism, with many expressing their concerns on social media. In response, BML has now lifted the previously imposed dollar limits. Debit and credit cards issued by BML will now have a foreign transaction allowance of $250, and Maldivians residing abroad will be granted a monthly allowance of $750. In a media address, Minister Said explained that although BML is a state-owned enterprise, the government typically does not interfere with the bank's corporate or trade-related decisions. However, he noted that the government intervened in this instance to prevent adverse effects on residents' lifestyles. Minister Said emphasized that the government will avoid decisions that could negatively impact Maldivian students studying abroad or individuals running small businesses. Additionally, Minister Said revealed that the annual demand for dollars in the Maldives averages $6.7 billion. He stated that the recently approved foreign investment bill will be instrumental in facilitating the Maldives' entry into free trade markets, which is expected to help reduce the demand for dollars.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Musa Zamir confirms that the government has received approval in its efforts to secure funds from various countries. During a press conference held on the government's ongoing efforts to improve the economy, Minister Musa Zamir highlighted the government's initiatives to strengthen bilateral relations with multiple nations and international organizations. He elaborated on recent discussions with China's foreign minister regarding the facilitation of favorable loan repayment terms and mentioned similar discussions with India's External Affairs Minister. Providing further details on the government's funding efforts, Minister Zamir noted that official visits have been made to several Middle Eastern countries. He confirmed that these efforts have been positively endorsed, demonstrating the government's commitment to obtaining additional financial resources. The minister expressed optimism about achieving tangible results from these initiatives in the near future. Additionally, Minister Zamir indicated that the Maldives dollar revenue could be enhanced through the current governmental measures. He acknowledged that addressing the financial challenges exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic requires time and assured that ongoing collaborative efforts are expected to effectively resolve these issues. Attorney General Ahmad Usham reveals the government's plan to amend several laws in an effort to address the ongoing dollar shortages. In a media briefing, Attorney General Usham outlined that the government aims to implement these amendments within the next 3 weeks. He explained that a comprehensive cabinet-level meeting was held to discuss the issue, leading to discussions on several key measures. Specifically, amendments will be made to the Maldives Pension Act and the Tax Administration Act. Detailing the proposed amendments, Usham stated that the primary objective is to facilitate businesses that generate income in dollars by allowing them to make governmental payments in dollars. The amendment to the Tax Administration Act will enable companies earning revenue in dollars to pay corporate income tax in the same currency. Similarly, the amendment to the Pension Act will ensure that individuals receiving their salaries in dollars will also have their pension contributions made in dollars. Additionally, changes will be introduced to the regulations governing payments to the Maldives Customs Services, allowing these transactions to be conducted in dollars. Usham expressed confidence that these measures will help mitigate issues related to currency exchange on the black market. The government has announced these amendments will be presented to Parliament within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Ministry of Finance discloses that it has sold treasury bills, T-bills worth $117 million to cover government expenditure. As such, it has sold 4 T-bills worth $117 million. The Finance Ministry sold a T-bill worth $84.7 million to be paid in 28 days, a T-bill worth $1.3 million to be paid in 98 days, and a T-bill worth $15 million to be paid in 182 days, as well as a T-bill worth $19 million to be paid in 364 days. The ministry noted that the interest rate on the T-bills ranges from 3.50% to 4.60%. T-bills are a short-term financial instrument. The Finance Ministry issues T-bills as discounted prices in the local currency with the face value repayable at the end of the specified repayment period. Hence, this benefits the T-bill investors and not the state. The T-bills issued by the government is usually bought by the banks, Maldives Pension Administration Office, as well as public and private companies. Beekeepers across France say it has been a disastrous year for honey, with bees starving to death and production plummeting by up to 80%.
Michael Isambert, a beekeeper in Saint-Avold-les-Roches in central France, lost 70% of his honey and had to feed his colonies sugar to help them survive after a cold, rainy spring. A beehive typically produces 15 kilos or 33 pounds of honey a year, but this time Isambert said his farm had only produced between 5 and 7 kilos. When it rains, bees don't fly, they don't go out, so they eat their own honey reserves. Low temperatures and heavy rainfall have prevented bees from gathering enough pollen and flowers from producing nectar, which the insects collect to make honey. Bad weather has affected honey producers countrywide, with spring production dropping by 80% in some regions, figures that summer harvests will struggle to offset, said the French National Beekeeping Union. Rainfall rose by 45% on the yearly average, the French National Beekeeping Union said in a letter to its local branches. With weather conditions that have been catastrophic in many regions, with abundant rain and low temperatures until late, many beekeepers' viability is under threat. French beekeepers had already been reeling from dealing with several seasons of scorching heat and delayed frosts, according to the French National Beekeeping Union, making this year, the black year, even worse. Honeymakers earlier this year protested against unfair competition by foreign producers, which led to the government releasing €5 million in aid. French consumers eat on average 45,000 tons of honey per year, about 20,000 of tons which is produced in France, according to the left-wing Peasants' Confederation Union.
Bangladesh's metro railway in the notoriously congested capital Dhaka resumes more than a month after it was closed during the peak of student-led protest that eventually toppled the Prime Minister.
Much in the troubled South Asian nation remains in political turmoil since the revolution that ousted Sheikh Hasina and ended her 15-year-long iron-fisted rule, but on Sunday, the trains at least were back on track. Dhaka is one of the world's most populated cities, and the railway is a critical transport link in the sprawling megacity of some 20 million people. Bankar Shaheen Sultana said she was delighted her commute to work was a relaxed affair after weeks of car-clogged gridlock on the roads. The elevated train network was closed in mid-July during the student-led protest. In the deadly violence, which would see hundreds of people killed until Hasina quit and fled the country by helicopter on August 5th, the stations were vandalized by a mob. The resumption of metro services is a key sign of a return to normal daily life. Its reopening was ordered by the new caretaker government led by Nobel Peace Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus, 84. Hasina's government was accused of widespread abuses, including the mass detention and extrajudicial killing of political opponents. But Dhaka's metro, inaugurated in 2022, is seen by many as one of the most significant infrastructure endeavors of Hasina's otherwise tarnished tenure. It was an instant hit in the congested city where commuting by road is a source of massive frustration. Local researchers say that the capital's economy loses upwards of $3 billion each year in lost work time due to traffic jams, often worsened by regular street protests and monsoonal downpours. Pictures released by Hasina's office while she was still in office showed her weeping at the sight of a vandalized metro station in the outlying Dhaka suburb.
A boat carrying more than 200 migrants sank off Yemen, leaving at least 49 dead, mostly women and children, in the latest disaster on the perilous migration route from Africa.
The International Organization for Migration (IOM) said that at least 49 migrants have died and 140 others remain missing after a boat carrying 260 people capsized off the southern province of Shabwa on Monday. It said 31 women and 6 children were among these confirmed dead, adding that 115 Somali nationals and 145 Ethiopians were initially on board the vessel before it sank. The IOM said that the search and rescue operations are ongoing despite significant challenges due to a shortage of operational patrol boats. The UN agency said that the boat departed from Bosaso in Somalia at around 3 a.m. on Sunday amid a recent rise in migrants from the Horn of Africa traveling to Yemen. Each year, many tens of thousands of migrants from the Horn of Africa set off across the Red Sea in a bid to reach the oil-rich Gulf, escaping conflict, natural disasters or poor economic prospects. In 2023 alone, the IOM observed more than 97,200 migrants' arrivals in Yemen. In April, 2 boats sank off the coast of Djibouti just 2 weeks apart, leaving at least 62 dead, according to the UN agency. The IOM said that it had recorded 1,860 migrant deaths and disappearances along the migration route since 2014, including 480 due to drowning. The agency spokesperson said that the latest tragedy is another reminder of the urgent need to work together to address urgent migration challenges and ensure the safety and security of migrants along migration routes.
Four days before the Paris Paralympic Games began, the Paralympic flame was lit next to the English hospital where the idea for the competition was born.
British Paralympic athletes Gregor Iwan and Helen Rainsford battled pouring rain to light the flame. The Paralympic movement dates back to 1948, when German neurologist Ludwig Gottmann organized sporting events for injured war veterans at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, northwest of London. The flame was lit in a stadium not far from the hospital where Gottmann worked. This is the first time since 2012 and the London Games that the Paralympic flame has been lit in Stoke Mandeville. Behind this flame is a powerful message of peace and other strong values, said Tony Estengut, president of the Paris 2024 Organizing Committee for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, hailing Gottmann's vision. The Stoke Mandeville Games were held to coincide with the 1948 London Olympics on grounds next to the hospital, which were then developed into the stadium where Saturday's ceremony took place. The first Paralympic Games took place in Rome in 1960 with 400 athletes competing from 23 countries. The flame will pass through the Channel Tunnel on Sunday with 24 British torchbearers, taking it halfway before handing it over to 24 French torchbearers. Then 12 torches will travel across France from Sunday to Wednesday. The flame will then reach Paris and the Olympic Cauldron located in the Tuileries Gardens. 1,000 torchbearers will take turns in around 50 cities. The main flame coming from Stoke Mandeville will pass through Calais, Arras, Amiens, Lourdes and Chambly before arriving in the Paris region. The Paralympic Games will begin on August 28. Some 2.5 million tickets have been put on sale for the event. As of Wednesday, just over 1.75 million had gone, with around a dozen sports almost sold out. Around 4,400 athletes will compete in 549 events, which will take place in 18 competition sites, including 16 identical to their Olympic counterparts.
Egypt's Tourism and Antiquities Ministry opens the historic Bimaristan Al Muayyid Sheikh, one of the oldest hospitals in Cairo, following extensive renovations carried out in partnership between Egypt and the United States Agency for International Development.
The Bimaristan, which was a hospital constructed by the Mamluk Sultan Al Muayyid Sheikh, is located near Cairo Citadel in South El Salah Street. The restored site was unveiled during a ceremony attended by key officials from Egypt and US. Secretary-General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Mohammad Ismail, emphasized the significance of integrating civil society in the preservation process, highlighting that the restoration of Bimaristan Al Muayyid is part of a broader initiative that includes over 8 historical buildings. The restoration aligns with a broader strategy to use these sites as cultural hubs, encouraging local communities to engage with and preserve their heritage. Deputy Tourism Minister Yomna Al-Bahar announced plans to offer the 8 sites after finishing their restoration for investment with the aim of enhancing the visitor experience through entertainment, artistic and cultural services that will also benefit the surrounding communities. U.S. Ambassador to Egypt, Hero Mustafa Garg, highlighted the long-standing partnership between the two countries, noting that the U.S. government has invested over $140 million in the conservation of Egypt's cultural heritage over the past 30 years. The reopening of Bimaristan Al Muayyad Sheikh marks a significant step in preserving Egypt's rich cultural heritage while promoting community involvement and sustainable tourism in Old Cairo.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant day ahead.